Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife, and this week's episode is a little bit out of the norm. I have been working on a collaborative project with another podcaster named Maria Strange, and we are going to share the details of that project with all of you today, and I'm really excited about that. So, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and like always, you're listening to Life of a Military Wife. Okay, so I'm going to jump in with a bit of an explanation right now. This bulk of the majority of this episode we recorded a couple of days ago because, well, we both have really busy lives and I record late at night usually. So that said, she's going to start off, Maria, introducing me, and then I'll introduce her and we'll explain what we've been preparing for you guys.
All right, ladies, I have a special treat for you today. My friend Sam is coming on the podcast, and we're going to talk about our upcoming training called What's Next for You and the resiliency training that we did a few months ago. But let me tell you a little bit about Sam. She is a military spouse of 9 years. She hosts the podcast Life of a Military Wife in an effort to help other spouses navigate military life and explain the military experience to those outside of the military community. During this time, she and her children have done basic training, a deployment, a hardship tour, and many other separations from her husband. She has been the president for the women organizations for her military congregation, and at each duty station, she has eagerly searched for ways to assist new military spouses with their transition to military life. Sam's schooling focuses on human development, family, and interpersonal relationships. I'm so excited for you guys to hear what we have for you today. So, are you ready to get started, Sam?
Yep. Okay. So for my listeners, I want to introduce Maria Strange. Maria is a certified life coach, and she's joining me on the podcast today so we can talk about a collaboration project we've been working on. We've done one in the past. Maria she also has a BA in psychology, focusing on life coaching and military resilience. She is a mother of 6, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and a military spouse for 19 years. So she beats me significantly in the military life category. She is doing her best to thrive each and every day as has the honor of helping military wives love their perfect imperfect lives. Maria is the host of a weekly podcast called When Military Life Gets Strange. And I'm obviously imperfect. So I'm one of those people that loves being around her because I, stumble over my words. So I'm really excited to be working with Maria on this project. Like I said before, we did a collaboration in the spring where we taught a resiliency class. I'm going to turn over to Maria. Wow, I really can't talk today. Maria, to talk a little bit about what we've done in the past together.
Yeah. So with the resiliency training, we talked about our thoughts and what they lead to and how we can choose our thoughts on purpose. We talked about having balance in our lives and learning to play to our strengths. And then we also talked about gratitude and comparison and how when we can get into an attitude of gratitude, we can find more to be thankful for, and we don't feel that need to compare ourselves to other military spouses or to the people that we work with, or just other people in our circle, our family members. And then we also talked about how to make a plan for when your spouse is deployed or you're moving to that next duty station. And then on the last day, we just did a live Q&A where we were able to answer a lot of great military questions, or just even questions about life in general, about how Sam and I navigate being military spouses and the other responsibilities that we have in life, being mothers and working and just all the different hats that we wear that we need to balance. And so for this next upcoming workshop, we're going to do 3 days, and we're going to cover what's next for you. Sam, do you want to tell them a little bit more about that?
Okay, so game plan for this one is we got a lot of really good feedback from our first one. And a topic that seemed to be of a lot of interest is work-life balance. And I was lucky enough while I was studying to have an entire course, an entire class on work-life balance. So I've got a lot of research and a lot of information on that. So we're going to cover work-life balance. We're going to cover vision boards. What else? I just blanked on the other thing you're covering,
Goals,
Maria.
how to set a goal.
Oh, goals and goal setting.
Why we want to fail in our goals sometimes, like why setting a goal and being willing to fail is so important.
Yeah, that is actually a huge thing I'm working on teaching our kids. So both Maria and I belong to the same church, and the youth program in our church really focuses around goal setting for our kids. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, but they set the goal setting into 4 categories: intellectual, spiritual, physical, and social. And then in the books that they give the kids to write down their goals and come up with a plan, they even have a spot for the kids to like, okay, this isn't working. Let's rethink it. And so they even want the kids to understand from the beginning that sometimes we set goals and we're like, maybe that was too easy, or maybe that was too hard and I need to break it down into smaller pieces. And that, I think, is a huge part of goal setting.
Yes. And the part, being willing to fail, like setting a big goal and then being willing to do things to figure out, okay, well, that's not how I'm going to reach the goal. Let's try it this way. Because sometimes when we set a really big goal, and it could be a weight loss or a money goal, or even I'm going to try and meet a dating goal. We've talked about like a woman who wanted to get married, and we're like, okay, so she set a goal to go on 100 dates. I'm going to put myself out there and go on dates. And so she was willing to fail, like, oh, that's not the guy. Okay, let's try this date. Let's try this. And it didn't take 100 dates. And she ended up, at number 49 or something, getting married. But because she was willing to fail and put herself out there and to go on those dates, she was able to achieve that goal that she wanted of that marriage, if that makes sense.
It does. That actually reminds me of a story. So I had the chance in college to meet Richard Paul Evans. Some of you might know him. He's a well-known author. He came to speak at my university, and the talk he gave was Fail Big. And he said that in high school, there was this girl that he sat next to, and she was super popular, and he had a crush on her the whole time, and he was terrified to ask her out. And so he never did. And then later at their 10-year high school reunion, he had his wife there, and he was talking. He's like, oh, hey, this is one of my best friends, and introduced him. And she's like, hey, I just want to know, why was I never good enough for you in high school? And he was like, what? And he's like, I was scared to ask you out. And he realized here she liked him the whole time and he liked her, but he was scared to ask her. So he never found out. And that he realized in that moment that he needed to be willing to fail. And so that was right when he started his career. And he had just written Christmas Box. And so he went to his first booksellers convention, and he got stuck in this room with all the, just starting out booksellers, authors. And he kept asking the people running the convention, hey, where are the booksellers? Where are the people who run the different bookstores? They're like, oh, they're in the VIP room signing books for the VIP, getting signed copies from the VIPs. They'll be here sometime. And he was like, wait, I don't want to be here then. I want to be there. So he decided to fail big. He grabbed all this stuff and just walked into the VIP room, and there was an empty seat at the table, and he just waltzed right up, sat down, and started signing copies of Christmas Box and handing it out to all the booksellers. And when somebody from the convention walked up, because she was like, she was about to confront him, instead of letting her confront him, he's like, oh, could you give me a glass of water? And then she was like afraid to confront him in front of everyone and make a scene. And so she backed off. Because he did that and he made that bold move to get at that table, he was able to get his book into the hands of all of these top purchasers, and it became a number one bestseller for the New York Times on the bestsellers list. So, and that's really how his career took off. And so, yeah, being willing to fail big is huge. That is a monumental life lesson. And I love that story. And I've used that story so many times, like just to help motivate myself and motivate others. So,
well, and I think too that Sam and I getting on here and recording podcasts every week, we're willing to put stuff out there, and there's going to be people who love it and there's going to be people who don't, but yet we're still willing to put ourselves out there, because I have the belief, and I'm going to assume Sam has the same. If my podcast or the information that we put out helps just one person, then it was worth all the headache and all the things that we had to learn how to fail at to do this.
completely. I completely agree with that. Starting a podcast was a little intimidating at first, but I realized and I'm sure you had this experience too, once you reach a certain amount of time in the military, new wives will just automatically start asking you, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I realized I was getting the same answers over and over again. And it was a lot easier just to kind of record my answer and be like, here, listen to this. Here, go here, and have it pre-set up. And so that's really what got me started. And then I realized as the more I went on, doing it, I realized there were things that I had learned in college that skills I had through my degree with family life science that would be advantageous to not just military families, but families in general. And there's skills we've learned as military spouses that are applicable and helpful for civilian families. So that's part of the reason why this time with this class, it is more open. It's not focused so much on military life or families. It is just opened in general to skills that everybody can use, whether you're military or not, whether you're married or not, whether you're an empty nester, wherever you're at, there's skills that are universally helpful.
Yeah. And learning to budget our time and how to set goals, and even the vision board. I look at my 16-year-old daughter. She is way better with electronic-y type stuff than I ever will be. But even her home screen on her phone is a little vision board. She has quotes on it and pictures of her and her friends. And she has, a picture of her scriptures to remind herself to read it. Every time she looks at it, she gets that reminder. And so I borrowed my dad's laptop a while back, and we need to send it back, but we're going to make him a vision board as his home screen before we send it back. And we're going to put pictures of him and my mom and quotes of that we love him, and more of just to help him feel that love from us, because we're so far away. Every time that he opens up his computer, that there will be all these little pictures, and it's totally going to revolve around our family. And I think it'll be great. It's kind of fun and clever, but it'll just be our way of being there with him when, as military families, we're so far apart.
That's actually a really good idea that I never considered. So I'm going to totally steal that idea from you. Probably make one for my husband or something.
Yeah, they're totally fun. I'm like, how do you do this? She's like, I just have mad skills, Mom. And I'm like, okay, great. You can do it for me. But that is part of,
kids are awesome.
What is your vision? What is it that you want to create? And another thing with goal setting, it doesn't have to be something physical. It can be setting a goal to spend more time with your family, which doesn't, I want to feel more connected with my children. Okay, what are the things that you can do that help generate that for you? And recognizing that the goals and things are really about you. You can't make your kids feel more connected to you, but you can generate feelings of connection to them.
Yeah. And it's important passing on these skills. That is a huge reason why I think both of us have started doing what we're doing, is we found things that have helped us live a better form of our lives, to have less chaotic, happier lives. And it just seems selfish to hold on to that information and not share it. And so, yeah, it's really, how can you also share that? So maybe you know how to manage your time pretty well, but you're struggling on how to teach that to someone else, be it a kid or a friend or whatever, or how to teach goal setting. So there might be things that we can cover to help you learn how to teach it as well, because I know that, for example, my brother-in-law is a math whiz. This guy is just a genius at math. And I think at one point I tried to get him to help me with something that was mathematical. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life, because he was one of those people who could do it, but didn't know how to explain it. And so that's also another step is, once you know how to do, how can then you pass it on as well? So we're going to help by teaching and also help teaching you how to teach.
Yeah. And if you have any questions on these topics, we would love to hear them. You can shoot us a message, leave a comment on our podcast, and share those questions with us so we can make sure to cover those things. And so Monday, Sam will teach on time management, and then Tuesday, I will teach about goal setting. And then Wednesday is just going to be a Q&A. So bring any questions that you have. They can be related to the topics we have, or just other questions that you have about life in general. And we will do our best to answer them. And if you send us the questions ahead of time, then we have some time to do some research and to be able to give you a more informed answer. I'm a really big component of everything is figure outable. That's kind of my new mantra. It used to be I can do hard things, and then everything felt hard. And so that I was like, oh, well, that doesn't work for me. And so now I'm like, everything is figure outable. How can I figure this out? And sometimes Google's a great resource, but other times it's going to be going to our friends. It's going to be going to somebody who has more experience than you in that area, and recognizing that we all have something to offer each other. There might be somebody who comes to you for a question. And so ask away, because we would love to answer any of the questions that you have, because that's what we're here for, is to serve not only the military community, but the families within our reach of circles as well. Because if we can just reach one person, then that makes our whole day.
Yeah. So it's going to be at 11 Mountain Standard Time. And what we figured out Easter time?
1
Eastern. And it'll be September 12th, 13th, and 14th. Please prep your questions, send them to us. Even if you're not going to be able to get on, send us your questions, and maybe you can watch the videos later.
We will have a replay, and you can sign up at mariastrangecoaching.com/resiliency, because I haven't changed the link from last time. So right now it's still /resiliency.
So, I'm super excited about this. I love collaborating with you. It's something I look forward to doing, just because it's really motivating and nice to not be working in a vacuum. It's nice to be working with someone else. So.
Yes, it is really nice to get out and to work with others. So we're so glad that you guys are here, and we hope you sign up. We will also be putting the signups on our social media. And we will see you on the next podcast.
Yes. So as Maria stated, you'll be able to find information to register for for the workshop class online. I already have the flyer up on my Facebook page. The QR code on that flyer will take you to the registration on Maria's website. Please share it with anyone who you feel would be interested. And I'm really excited. It's going to be September 12th through the 14th. It is a 3-day thing. And on it says Eastern time, because Maria lives on one side of the country. I live on the other. It's about 10 o'clock Mountain time, or 9 o'clock West Coast. So make sure when you're signing up, you're aware of when it will be in your time zone. We did last time when we did this, we had people who signed up who were in Korea, and they did not get the opportunity to watch live, but we recorded and emailed the sessions and sent them to them. So if you are in Europe or Korea or wherever you are, please still feel free to sign up, and we will try to get you the materials, even if it's the middle of the night. You don't have to wake up in the middle of the night for this. It's okay. We'll get you the materials. But like I said, I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. So please share this with your family, friends, whoever. This is last time we did it more geared towards military. This is just general life skills that are applicable to anyone. And even if these are things that you feel comfortable with, sometimes it's always helpful to get a refresher. I know that that's been the case for me multiple times. So that is the project we have been working on. And I hope you're as excited as I am. Like, I know I keep saying I'm excited, but I really am about this. It's nice working with someone else and not just always doing projects on my own. And I really do enjoy interacting with you, the listeners, and sharing these different things that I have learned in my professional development, as well as just my military experience. Well, my experience as a military spouse. So, that said, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you have been listening to Life of a Military Wife.